everyone. I would first and foremost want to thank Pia, Teach AIDS, Nimagada Foundation. The reason behind this would be, I remember 12 to 14 years ago. Today I'm standing here as an individual, as an icon, as a star, whatever it is. I'm here to make a difference to this whole program. But I remember 14 years ago when I was in college. I just got into college. And I was getting into college one day and I saw this lean guy sitting outside the college and playing his guitar. And he was playing some amazing music. I was just standing and watching him. It's not that I had so much of money. I didn't have anything to give him, but all I could do is give him a few minutes of my time and listen to what he was playing. And once he finished playing, I just spoke to him. His name was John. And he was outside the college the next day also, and again he played his music and I got to speak to him. And that's when he told me that I need you to come to this one place, and again he's a stranger now, I need you to come to this place with a group of people. That's when the whole AIDS awareness had just started. It was a whole huge taboo to talk about AIDS, to talk about anything to do with sex. Till now, even I haven't spoken about sex education or spoken about anything with my parents. It's a taboo and it's something that I wouldn't go across and talk to them. And when I went with John, it's like I had a few more friends and I don't know what pushed me then. And I had lots of fear. My parents still don't know about it. I think this is the first day they're going to know about it today. I used to bunk my college and then go with a few friends to find out what is this man, what's he trying to say. And around 25 kilometers from the college where I studied was this small village, remote place, which had two chicken sheds. So they had emptied out two chicken sheds, and there was some person who had started, who wanted to make a difference, who had one of the chicken shed emptied out for the ladies and one for the men. And they had a kitchen, and it was John who got a few of these people together who, Prasad Garu said, they were like shunned from the society, they were pushed away, they had their own families who didn't want to see them, and there were kids who had 2 years, 4 years, who got it from their parents for no fault of theirs, and they were sitting there not knowing that they're going to just live the rest of their lives in that shed, and I don't know what's going to happen to them. And I still can't forget my first moment, it's very important for me because a lot of people, when the AIDS awareness started, all we heard was, like Pia said, you have little bit of information coming out. They said the immunity drops. That's what happens, right, Pia? The immunity drops. So if the immunity drops, what should we do? You give them a lot of multivitamins. That's the basic thing that you can do to them. So that's what John had told me, and I had just heard about it. So that's something that I couldn't go and speak up to my parents because AIDS was such a big taboo then. And more than that, talking about something to do with something which is sexually transmitted. So we used to go collect multivitamins from our classmates, whoever had doctors as parents. We used to tell them, because I think all doctors, they get the samples of the multivitamins. So we used to go collect it and give it to them. And this happened for almost 6-7 months. We used to bunk college and do the same thing, go spend time with them. But the first day when I went to that place, there was a lady who was coughing. And I still had that fear of not wanting to touch a patient who has AIDS. That again was a fear in my mind. And I remember going up to her and she was coughing. And I was very shaky, and I went close to her and she told me, she's like, you won't get it by touching me. She's like, what you need to take care of is I've got TB and you need to keep away from me because that can be transmitted. And she just said, you sit far away and talk to me. And then the next thing was, another challenge for me was when John made some food. And all of us played a game of volleyball together, and John made some food. And he just mixed the food in one plate and he gave it to us. And for me to take that food again from that plate it was very scary. Honestly, it was very scary. And these were the questions which troubled me a lot, because I could never come back home and ask my parents, what is it? I didn't have any teacher to go and tell me, okay, what do I know about AIDS? Internet, then I didn't have access to internet. There was no access there was nobody to talk about, and I remember it troubling for me for 2 years. And after 1 year, I lost touch with those people. John passed away, and we got to hear that the sheds were closed down, and I don't know, I think a foundation took over it. I'm not sure what happened. But because of the fear that I had, and because I didn't have anyone to speak to at that time, being a young girl, I had to disconnect from that. And there's so many questions, Priya, that I'm sure not only the youngsters, and that's something I genuinely feel that more than the youngsters, it's the adults, it's the people who work in these medical centers. Like we spoke about condoms being used. It's like everywhere you speak about anything, they say condoms. You use condoms for protection. But the basic thing is, when a teenager, okay, who's seen it and who goes to buy a condom from a medical store, their faces are going to look down at him, or their faces are going to be like, I know your dad, I'm going to tell your dad. So what do those people do? So I think that the program that you've come out with, and you can't blame the parents, you can't blame them, because I just feel it's a cycle, it's a chain. Nobody answered their questions, so they'd rather shut up and not answer your questions. So I don't think we can place a finger on anyone and blame them. So all we can do is just I think we need to have a mass education system where it'll be the first school where you'll have 60-year-old people and you'll have 2-year-old kid learning together. So, and I just hope that whatever difference I can make to help you, and teach AIDS. And Prasad Garu started off. And another thing that I feel is there are only 2 ways that we can work on kids. I feel in terms of educating on AIDS, I think everyone are like kids. And if you have to educate a kid, all you need to do is either take a scale. If your kid's not studying geography, all you need to do is take a scale and beat him on his legs and say, learn your geography. And the other way is either you imply it to them where it's your bread and butter, or you threaten them, or you put it to them in terms of animations where they enjoy it. And you have like if it's Nagarjuna Garu, I'm sure anyone in any village, any corner would just want to come and see his face. So that's going to make a huge difference. And I hope each one doesn't wait for it to get into your family. Don't sit in a corner and think that we are very safe. We use condoms, it's not going to happen. You never know what happens when. So the best thing is to spread that awareness for people who have kids. Please talk to your kids. I'm sure it's going to be extremely difficult. If you can't, then you have all of us who can come and speak to them. So I hope we make a start somewhere before it's late.